what? Looks like, yes, my apologies for that. I'm getting it started right now. So I didn't realize that for some reason, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube was not streaming. So my apologies, but right now we are just now diving into the thick of things. So if anybody's looking for any houses in the Detroit metropolitan area, I have a list of 20 houses right here. Pull your phone out, take a screenshot. These are listings that are all over the Detroit area. Happy to help you with them. Okay. So, but right now, let's just jump right into where do we start? Where do we go? And what does it take? Okay. Right now, a lot of you wonder, what is down payment assistance? Well, there are several types of down payments, 3 to be specific. Okay. And then there are grants. Okay. Ideally, we always want to tap into grants first. That's free money. You get to keep it. So for me, I always want to go for the grants first. And then if we can stack some down payment assistance programs on top of it, like we did with Emily and like we did with Kenneth and a couple of other people, we'll do it. Okay. So grants, free money, down payment assistance, that is typically has some type of either. There's 3 types of it. One is forgivable. You own the house for a certain period of time, you get to keep all the money. That's one type of down payment assistance program, and that's typically what we're going to shoot for. The second one is where you get free use of money. Okay. For example, I have one in the state of Michigan, and many states have this program through different housing commissions, where they will actually give you free use of money. So they might give you $25,000 that you can use for the life of the loan for 30 years. At the end, you have to pay it back. Okay. So if you sell the house or pay the loan off, that's when they want the money back. They don't charge you any interest. You never make any payments, but you get free use of the money. So why wouldn't you? Okay. The third type of down payment assistance program is one where they actually have a structured repayment terms, and there's a payment and an interest rate. But I can count on one hand the amount of those that I do during the course of the year, because there's so much free money out there or free use of money out there. So those are the different types of down payment assistance programs and grants. Now, with regards to eligibility requirements, they're all a little bit different. Okay. I always tell people, if your credit scores are 580 or higher, we usually have a solution for you. Okay. Some of the municipal programs, if they are grants, those can be a little bit more flexible. Okay. But for the most part, we need to see scores in at least the mid 500s to get people across the finish line, at least in my neck of the woods right now. So the other side of it is you need to have predictable income. That's the next eligibility requirements. So there's 3 parts to getting approved for a loan. There's income, there's credit, and there's assets. The assets is your down payment and money out of pocket. As long as you've got a couple $1,000s, you're fine. That's the money is actually the easy part for me with all of these different programs. It's the income. So if you have a fixed income, we just have to watch it. Okay. If you have we do need a 2-year history for your income. And then again, your credit scores have to be in that area that we discussed. Okay. So the benefits of down payment assistance and grants, like I said, grants are usually free money. So you want to gravitate there first. And then if there's no grant money, or we can stack it with some down payment assistance money, we certainly want to do that. Okay. So the biggest misconceptions that I run into are people think that these programs are earmarked for people with low income. It's not the case. Okay. I had a gentleman last month that made well into 6 figures. He made mid 6 figures, but he actually qualified for a 3% down payment assistance program. And in his marketplace, that's a lot of money. So that being the case, why not tap into it? He actually had the ability to put 20% down, but instead keep that money in his pocket. He could put up to 5% down in the program. He took the 3% free money, put his 2% onto it. It actually gave him a lower interest rate because it was a first-time home buyer program and lower mortgage insurance. Now, if he wants to pay down on it after his first payment, he could ask to get that loan recast and still keep that low interest rate that he got because he put less down on a first-time homebuyer program. So don't let people tell you that these are just for low-income people, and don't let people tell you that there are higher interest rates involved. Yes, some of these programs do have higher interest rates. They do have repayment terms. Some of these programs, some of the down payment assistance programs aren't really that good, but the database that I'm going to show you is about 3,000 programs. Out of the 3,000, I can tell you 2,000 of them are really good. So, but they're all over the country. So with that being said, let's start taking it down that trail. So the first thing that we want to do is I always tell people, we want to research what programs do you qualify for? Okay. And that comes with the website and the app that we developed called Zero Down Scout. Okay. So if you go out to the Apple Play or the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, you can download Zero Down Scout. And this is what it's going to look like. Once you go in, you can actually input your property information. So let's say, for example, here's one in Roseville on Leach Street, and just hit continue, ask you some questions, see what programs. I can see that this house qualifies for 9 programs. 10,000, 7,500, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 15,000 to step forward, 20% of mortgage interest through MISHDA. And so there's all kinds of programs out there. And there are more. So let's say, for example, you are looking for something in, I don't know, let's go out to Zillow, and let's go to one of the big cities out there. It's crazy the amount of money that's out there. Let's try Los Angeles, California homes. Let's zoom in here. I guarantee there's nothing cheap here. So here we go. 400. That's a multifamily. Multifamily can work as well too. So it's a little bit more tricky. You got to keep it to 4 units or less. But let's see if this is a house. Okay, here's a house. 515. Let's try this address. California. And go back. California. Let's just get rid of this. I think if we just put in a zip code, let's try there. Paste LA. Get that zip code in there. And let's see how many programs. Just let it go. And 20 programs. Look at this, $90,000. City of Los Angeles, 90,000, 100,000, 85, $161,000 available for the City of Los Angeles. It's just the amount of money that's out there. It's endless, and people don't use these programs nearly as much as you think they would. In fact, we have a whole website that's actually built to teach people how to tap into these programs beyond my webinars. So if you just go to my website, Own the Roof, let's see, there we go, owntheroof.com, you'll see all the resources, the publications, everything we offer. And this stuff is all free. If anybody ever wants a copy of my book, you can certainly go onto Amazon and buy it. But why would you? Just email me. I give it away for people. I didn't do this to make money. I did it to pay it forward. So no money, no down payment, no problem. I don't know how it's probably like 160 or 70 pages. It's great bedtime reading for me, but This book, at the time that we wrote it, we only had 2,500 programs. We're up to 3,000 right now. So lots of options there. For those of you, remember I said there's three things that really go into getting across the finish line for these programs. Number one are assets. And obviously with all of these programs, we've got the money covered. Credit is the next biggest hurdle. So I wrote a book, No Credit, No Problem. We go over how to fix your credit and how to get a quick spike in your credit score. I actually do free webinars for that too. If you're ever interested in signing up for that, all you got to do is go to my website, Own the Roof. And let's go back here. Under the resources area, you'll see everything. You can actually, there are publications. You can see Zero Down Scout, which this is a link to our application. And then, of course, here's the new link that we have for the HCV program. Anybody that is looking to, anybody that's got a voucher and wants to learn how to purchase a home using their voucher, we're all about that. And then the next one, book a call. We do free consultations for people to basically point you in the right direction, just to make sure that you're not wasting time. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot of educational content here to walk you through it, and you can self-teaching all the way. So this is the reason why several, right now the Detroit Housing Commission is working with us, because we offer all of these free tools for people. And then, of course, you can register for my next webinar, which you can see, obviously, that's the one for today. We'll have to redo that. I actually have a credit repair webinar coming up on July 25th. And for anybody that happens to see this for the HCV program, we are doing a webinar dedicated to that too. That's going to be on July 11th. Okay, we'll get that out there shortly too. And that's 100% dedicated to teaching people how to convert those vouchers into purchasing. Okay, it's kind of a tricky process, but it's not rocket science like anything. Okay, all right. So, and then the last thing, we have courses, and I get it. I'm not a reader, and I'm actually an Audible book guy. I like Audible books. But for some of you that want videos, we have video courses, and these are free as well. No down payment guide. So basically, it's my book on video. Okay, so I just did about 6 hours of recordings teaching people how to purchase with no money down. I also have 2 to 3 hours of recordings for the no credit repair courses. And for people that want a more high level education on how we negotiate these deals to get in with as little money out of pocket, that's where I have structuring deals with little money. I find a lot of real estate agents tend to follow me and want to learn this. So that's why we do that one. If you really want to get in the weeds and learn how to get these deals done with very little money out of pocket, that's the course for you. So just remember my website, Own the Roof, that's where it all starts. Okay. Now let's get back to things here. So Zero Down Scout. So make sure that you download that application. Okay. That's the key. That'll tell you all the programs that are out there. And right now, I had somebody in Miami earlier in the week. Miami's offering $200,000 to people. New York, $261,000 for people that want to buy in New York right now. And like I said, LA, $160,000. And like I said, my backyard, Detroit, the Tobias Harris program, the $75,000. That's by far and away the biggest one right now. So please do not hesitate. You know what? Let me put this in there. Let me give you a link to my calendar. This is where you can schedule a call. You can do it on my website, Own the Roof. You can always book a call there, or let me give you my cell phone number. That's 248-252-7283. Now, I am a phone jockey. I'm on the phone all day long. So if you call and I don't answer, please leave a message, or better yet, text me. I love it when people text me because I can call you right back, okay, in between other calls. So I would rather And I pride myself in returning all my calls by the end of the day. So, anyway, so you've just learned about Zero Down Scout. That's the first step. For me, I want to find out what programs I qualify for. And a lot of those programs will tell us what are the credit score restrictions, what are the income restrictions, things like that. But if you want the details and whether or not you'll fit in those, schedule a call with me and I'll happy to map those out for you. So here is a code where you can actually download Zero Down Scout. So while you're doing that, I'm going to give you a little bit about my history. So a lot of people always wonder, like, how did I end up doing this? How did I end up here? So, because everybody's got a story. And my story is not that different from a lot of other people's, just from the fact that I had to start over about 15 years ago. About 15 years ago, financially, the rug was pulled out from under me. I was a partner in a mortgage company, title insurance company, until someone embezzled some money, and it was a very hard spiral down. So, unfortunately, I was kind of left holding the bag on that side, but along with another partner. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as they say. So we did rebuild, and not to where it was, but just the same. I don't think I want to be back where I was. I wasn't the person that I am right now. Because after rebuilding, and when I say rebuilding, going through bankruptcy, multiple foreclosures, it was just I've seen it all. So that's really where I learned how to rebuild my credit. And I promise you, rebuilding credit 15 years ago was a heck of a lot harder than it is right now. There's tons of tools out there. But after rebuilding, it was kind of a moment of reflection where do I want to really rebuild to where I was? Because what I was before was just a guy on a treadmill trying to bring in business to accumulate as much money as I could, to think that that defined success, and it really didn't for me. So that was when, about 15 years ago, I realized that I'm going to rebuild, but when I'm rebuilding this time, I'm rebuilding to help more than just create. So right now, I have a passion for helping, especially in underserved areas. So I am, you name it, I am all over the city of Detroit. And for that reason, I love what I do. Once I discovered this was my true calling of helping people and teaching people how they can actually purchase with very little money out of pocket, and that you don't need perfection to actually buy a house, especially with how disheartening the rental market is right now. So anyways, so that's just a small glimpse of my story and why I do this, and some of the reasons why I give all of this stuff away. So Zero Down Scout is free. My books are free. You name it, the courses, everything. So, and as a result, I am blessed with a lot of people that refer me business because I teach so many people. Whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, it doesn't matter to me. Okay. I've got some people that have been on coming to my webinars for 3, 4 years. I've been doing these webinars almost 5 years now. So, and I try to do them at least 2, 3 times a month. So we're going to, like I said, we've got a really light audience today because we're having some, when we built out the housing choice voucher page on our website and platform, we had a lot of technology hiccups. So not too many people got invited to this webinar. It was just people that kind of stumbled across the website. So, so we've got a really private audience tonight, and I kind of like it. So it kind of takes some pressure off. But the first step in this process is we want you to find out what programs are out there. Okay. Because once you see how many programs are out there and you realize what it takes to get approved, you'll realize that it isn't about perfection. That if your scores are just above 600, if you're making your rent payments right now, you can probably make a mortgage payment. So now maybe everything isn't perfect. Schedule that call. We can kind of help modify things to get you where you need to be. So, so the next step is going to be, once we figure out what programs, we want to check your eligibility. Okay. What is your income? Where are your debt to income ratios? Do we need to knock some debt down to get a quick spike in your score? Do we need to pay off some debt in order to get your debt to income ratios in alignment? Don't know. Everybody's story is a little bit different. Okay. So before I got back into real estate, I think it's 15 years ago now, I spent over 20 years in the mortgage world. That's how I learned to tap into all these programs. And that's how I learned how to structure these deals and get people across the finish line. So even though my team and I are actually real estate agents and we help people, I'm kind of the guy behind the scenes working all the numbers. Okay. So no matter where you are in southeastern Michigan, my team opens doors all over the place. And I have extended people across the country that we refer people out to. So if you're outside of the Michigan marketplace, please don't hesitate. Reach out to me. Happy to pull some programs up, what you qualify, what programs will work for you. More importantly, help you make that introduction. And that's another thing I want to focus on. A lot of these programs have been around for years. I got in the business in 1987, and the programs were available back then. The thing is, not too many people show you how to get there. That's the one thing I found. Most lenders only offer maybe 2 or 3 of these programs, and there's actually 3,000 across the country. So it's impossible for one lender to know what programs or to offer the best programs that are out there. Okay. It's like getting a lottery ticket. So that's why I always tell people, schedule a call with me. Let me learn your situation. And I would tell you what programs I would use if I were in your shoes. And these programs come and go. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to see people get excited and get their family all pumped up for a move and then have a program run out of money. So we want to make sure that you're not only approved for one, we want to make sure you're approved for multiple programs. Okay. I've been there. Okay. You can tell me no all day, but if I've got to tell no to my family after I get them excited for a move, that's not cool. So we are all about making sure that this whole process is as smooth as possible. Okay. There's always bumps in the road. Okay. I'm not gonna short sell that. Okay. But what we try to do is smooth those out as much as possible by letting you see the potholes before you get to them. Okay. So the second step, we want to make sure that you are eligible for the programs. Okay. And when I say eligible, we want to know where your income and your credit lie right now so we can factor that into and make sure you are aligning with the best programs possible and then put you in touch with the lender, not only the lender, the loan officer at whatever lender does it. And the reason I say not all loan officers are proficient in doing these programs, especially when you get into some of the big companies like Flagstar Bank, Bank of America, Chase, they've got programs. Okay. But if you just call their call center, oh my gosh, what a pain. They won't even tell you about these programs because there's departments inside each one of these banks. And it's just sheer by chance that you end up getting to the right person in those banks. So the third thing that we want to focus on is we want to gather your documentation. Okay. Typically what they're going to look for are your pay stubs and your W-2s and possibly your tax returns for the past couple of years. So paycheck stubs for 30 days, W-2s for 2 years, and maybe 2 years tax returns. And I say maybe, they don't always need those. The next thing they'll need is they're going to need your bank statements for the past couple of months. Okay. They want to make sure you've got 1,000 or 2 to contribute to the transaction. Okay. So that's what they do for the third step as far as documentation. Not real difficult at all. And then the fourth step is once we get that information, we're going to connect you with a loan officer at the bank that's offering the most amount of money or under the most favorable terms. Okay, that's all. So, so I have contacts at each one of the banks that I typically recommend for people. Okay, and the reason I want to make that introduction for you is when there are hiccups, and there's always hiccups, I want to be able to jump in. If you need an advocate to jump in to push your deal along, I want to be there for you. Okay. Because it's almost guaranteed that I will have to jump in at one point in time, whether it's to maybe get some more money, because there's always money on the table with lenders through lender credits, lender grants. So things like that that need to be asked for, or sometimes making sure that the lenders are offering all the money that's out there for you. Okay. So allow us to help make that introduction for you. And then the last piece is we want to connect you with an agent that's proficient in getting these deals done and accepted. And when I say done and accepted, I'm talking about making sure that your offer is structured in a way that gets you in with the least amount of money out of pocket, because that's what we're all about. Okay. Right now, it's nothing cheap about anything in this country. Actually, every time I go to the grocery store, I thank God my kids are grown, because what it costs for my wife and I right now is the same as what it used to cost for our family when I have 4 kids. When all 4 kids were home, heck, I'm spending the same amount now for the 2 of us as I did when all 4 kids were under one roof. It's crazy how expensive things are right now. So coming by money and working for money is not easy. It's harder now than ever. So that being said, I want to make sure that we are tapping into every bit of money we can. So that's why I want to make sure you're connected with an agent that will work in lockstep with us to make sure that when your offer gets accepted, that we're asking for all the credits we possibly can, whether that's from the seller or from the lender or from the third-party grants that are out there. Okay. So not all agents are proficient in these topics. So hit us up on that. And then this is what I always tell people. Imagine, because right now the rental market is in such bad shape. Imagine if you're opening the door to your own home. Okay. Now, homeownership, I'll be the first to say, isn't for everyone. But right now, compared to the rental market, it's certainly the best alternative. Okay. So my team and I are always out here to help in any way possible. So tonight we covered all of the programs, how to access them through Zero Down Scout. Okay. I've got someone asking, how do we structure how do we get in with such little money out of pocket? Well, a lot of the grants and down payment assistance programs can, in addition to covering the down payment, they can cover your closing costs. And whatever they don't cover, we can always ask the sellers to help out. Okay. That's the easy one. The other one is there are lender credits out there that can be asked for and negotiated. These are more advanced maneuvers. Lender credits are, okay, so someone's asking, what are lender credits? Are credits that the lender can give you by offsetting your interest rate a little bit. Okay. There's also credits for certain things like right now, I've got one lender that's giving appraisal credits, $500. Okay. Maybe not a ton of money when buying a house, but $500 still spends a lot in my house. So why not pick it up? Okay. There are other options too. Okay. So right now, there are a lot of banks out there that are still sitting on Community Reinvestment Act money. So it doesn't hurt to ask for it. Do you have any CRA money sitting out there? Boom. Not a bad question to ask a lender. So these are things that we do when we connect you with a lender. Typically what we're going to do is we're going to jump in. We're going to schedule a call. We're going to learn your story. Okay. What's your income? What's your credit score like? What kind of bills do you have right now? Do we need a quick spike in your score by maybe working with your credit utilization a little bit? We can certainly coach you on that. And then once we feel like you're in that strike zone or where we've got a 90% chance or better of getting approved for financing, we're going to connect you with the lender. At that point in time, we're going to tell the lender, okay, John we feel is a great candidate for the down payment assistance program. Plus, if we want to put the CRA money on top of it, or can you please open up a checking account and grab that 500? So we're going to go and talk about connecting all the dots financially. And then the loan officer is going to call you and say, okay, John's already teed this up for us. He said you were interested in purchasing in this area. These are the programs that we're thinking right now. They will send you an application to get things rolling. They'll usually have your approval spit out in sometimes as quick as a day. Sometimes if it takes a day or two to get your documentation in, so be it. But usually not more than a couple of days we can get you pre-approved and have you out looking at houses. All right, now for some of the questions. What kind of questions do people have out there? Let me hit the Facebook. Okay. Timeline, good question. Okay, so how long does it take? So typically from the time that we get you pre-approved, we're going to get you out looking at houses right away. Once you get a house under contract, typically about 30 to 45 days once your offer is accepted. So usually I tell people about maybe 45 to 60 days, and then you're getting the keys to your house. So do not put your notice in with your landlord until you get an offer accepted, especially right now in the environment that we're in. Landlords are not having an issue renting places out. So don't be someone that's going to be pushed out. We want to make sure that you are controlling the timeline. Okay, good. All right, next question. Okay, I am going to put a link to my asking about credit. How do we do the credit? Let me give you a link to my credit webinar right here. I think the next one is July 25th. And let's get that out in the Facebook area. There you go, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Okay, so on the credit repair webinar, we go over what they look at or what they look for inside the mortgage world. What does it take for credit approval? Okay, number one, we're going to make sure you're getting the correct credit scores using the FICO scoring models, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. We don't want to use the algorithms that are the credit scores, the Vantage scores that are given out like on Credit Karma, okay? It's a good benchmark, but it's not the same as the FICO score that they use inside the mortgage world. So we go over that. We go over what goes into the credit score, and we go over how to manipulate the credit scores to get a quick spike. So with that being said, we go over things like, late payments, utilization, how to handle bankruptcies, how to handle collection accounts. Collection accounts are what trip a lot of people up. So we cover that in detail too. And then we go over my steps. Okay, how do I analyze credit and how do I look for what can get a quick spike in your score? The webinar is titled 60 Points in 60 Days. We teach people how to get a quick spike in their credit score. And most of the people we work with can get a quick spike in 60 days. Or if you don't have any credit, we show you how to build credit, okay? And what tools to pick up there. Secured credit cards, secured loans are really doing well right now. Actually, secured cards and manipulating credit utilization is just, credit utilization right now, and I think it's more to do with, it's just the default rates for credit cards is skyrocketing. So if you're able to manipulate your credit utilization, and we show you how to do that with an advanced maneuver to pay your credit cards down, where you can pay it down today and a week from now you can use them. Because I realize there's never any extra money. So we have a technique where we coach people how to pay your card down today right before it's reported to the credit bureaus. Then if you need it for groceries, you can charge it right back up. That way we can take that quick spike in your score, take that to a lender, get your credit score pulled and locked in. Once they do that, it's good for 90 to 120 days, and we're off to the races. So there's a lot of advanced techniques that we teach in that webinar to get that quick spike in your score so we can get you across the finish line. So we are now at approaching the 8 o'clock hour. So one more question, and then we will call it an evening. Yes, you know what? I mentioned earlier, I will put it in here. Let me get you a link. I believe it is called, asking for a copy of my book. Okay, so if you go to Own the Roof and / free book, hit enter, and there it is. Let me put that in the right here, copy, and we will put that in. Just go right to the Own the Roof / free book, enter your name, phone number, email address, and it will be emailed to you instantly. So good. All right. Well, I want to thank you all very much. I hope all of you have a wonderful, safe 4th of July. We will be picking this up again. I think our next webinar is going to be on the 11th for the HCV recipients and people that want to learn on that side of it. If you ever want to pick up my webinars, these are all being streamed on Facebook. Facebook only stores them for 30 days. YouTube actually keeps them forever. So if you go to my YouTube channel, Own the Roof, and go under the live events, you will see all of the recordings that we have out there. So thank you all very much for watching this evening, and hope our paths cross again soon, and happy 4th of July to everyone. Take care. Have a good night.